We get asked a lot of thread about AI readiness. How do I make my MSP ready for AI? I don't want to just buy a product and throw it at my team and start doing things. And that's a good question, because when we see MSPs try Thread or try AI or other products and it doesn't work out, it's typically because they didn't think about it holistically. It was, hey, I'm going to try to throw a side project in someone's court and hopefully they get some outcomes, but if not, no big deal. At least we're playing around with AI. That's not a terrible choice, but it's not a great choice. A great choice, if you want to think about really changing the outcomes of your business and future proofing, making a ton of margin now and setting yourself up to be the future MSP, a managed intelligence provider, then you need to think about AI readiness. And there's a number of recommendations that we have, but the biggest one is that it needs to come from the top. If you're the leader of an MSP, you're a CEO or service desk manager or CTO or whatever that role is, if you're the person who's setting the vision for your service desk and your company as a whole, you need to tell your team the journey that you're on. You need to cast vision for them. Hey, we are becoming an AI MSP. We're going to put AI in our service desk. And here's what it's going to mean. It's going to mean that people are going to get better outcomes. We're going to solve tickets faster. It's going to be a lot more fun to work here. All that stuff you hate doing, like time entries and changing statuses, you're not going to have to do that anymore. You're just going to get to be the IT superhero that you wanted to be when we hired you. And I don't have to show you an interface that is embarrassing and it's not fun to use. Like, there's so many positives. Everybody should be able to make more money. You're going to be able to sell really cool technology and really cool outcomes to your customers. But at the same time, there's going to be changes. There's going to be things in our process that work differently now, and that's okay. There's also going to be a little pain along the way. We might turn something on, and it may not work exactly how we thought it would. Now, we're not willing to do that to lose a customer or create a terrible experience, but we are willing to go through a little bit of pain. And for example, if we're trying to auto prioritize a ticket with AI and it gets set to priority 2 instead of priority 1, it's not great, but we're also not going to abandon the whole project because of that. What we see when MSPs are not going through the AI readiness process, we see one little thing go wrong and then they shut down the whole project, because that's what the person was waiting for the whole time. They never wanted to be a part of it. It was thrown on them. They didn't see the upside, and so they were just waiting for the first problem so they could shut off the project and say it didn't work. That's not what you want to happen, and the way that you get ahead of that is by getting everybody on board, telling them what the future is. It's not optional. We're going there. It's going to be awesome, and we're going to go through some process change on the way. One thing that you want to think about when you're talking about AI readiness, and you've had the conversation, hey, we know what the future looks like. Everyone is excited about it, or at least willing to be on board. Where do we go from here? How do we think about implementing this project? Well, you want to think about it the same way you think about most projects. What are the outcomes we're going for, and what are the KPIs we're tracking to think about success? We can give some concrete guidance there. I would look to the vendor or partner that you're working with to say, hey, what are the outcomes that you typically think about? I would definitely look at time on ticket. If you're implementing AI into your service desk, you should be spending less time on each ticket. There's a lot of features and tools, and Thread helps with that in a big way. But time on ticket is definitely a big one that I would think about. Time to resolution, similar, right? That should be going down as well. Now, you should see a CSAT increase. There's a lot of caveats with CSAT. People may not be answering your CSAT, whatever that is, but your CSAT should go up as well. I would think about time to resolution and time on ticket as the two easiest pieces to track. I would also think about accuracy of the AI. Typically, your AI should be able to be more accurate than your team is, especially when you think about things like priority and categorization of tickets. So think about what your priority and categorization is today and what it could be if you implement a tool. And the tool that you're implementing should be able to give you guidance on what a good outcome looks like. Something that you may hear from your team when you are talking about AI readiness is that your data isn't good enough. That's kind of the standard, like, hey, we want to implement automation, but our data is not good. We don't know what our process is. We don't have good documentation. So there's no way that we can automate it. Frankly, that is an outdated perspective. AI, for the most part, doesn't need to train on your data today to get good outcomes. Now, if you want something to read through your whole knowledge base, sure, it needs to read that. But I will say that is not where you should be starting with AI in your service desk. And most features, when you think about AI triage, for example, good triage tools should not need to process and read through your data to be able to triage well. Now, there's downsides to reading through your data as well. So it's not just that it's not needed, but it's actually expensive. And there's more security risks that come into play when you think about reading through your documentation. So if you hear someone on your team say, or you yourself are thinking, I can't do this yet, I need to get all my ducks in a row before I can start automating, I can start implementing AI, that's just not true. You can turn auto triage tools on in 15 minutes today with no data from your company being processed. This may feel like a lot. You may be like, hey, I'm on board, but where do I get started? What does this meeting with my team look like? I'm happy to help. We have a slide deck that we share on how to do this AI readiness presentation with your team. We're not going to do the presentation for you. It's important that it comes from the leadership of the MSP to your MSP. But we're happy to connect. I'm happy to meet with anybody and talk through strategies and tips and tricks and help prepare for this meeting to have an AI readiness session and thinking about the future. So there's a link to my calendar that you can grab. Also happy to send you the deck as well. And if you want to think about how to implement AI into your MSP and you're ready to go and you want to become an AI MSP, grab a demo of Thread. We can help you do it. We guarantee a positive ROI on our whole tool in the first 60 days if you just turn on a few features. So it's out of the box, highly valuable. You will have a better time to resolution, less time on ticket, better customer outcomes, and you'll be on your way to becoming an AI MSP.